Me. Hey, Pierre. Hey, Sebastian.
Hello there. How are you?
Good, sir. Just a few to come in. Benjamin, hi. Brian, hello.
Rich.
Just a moment or two. There's a few to join. Just everyone, if you can, turn your cameras on. It's good wherever possible. Pajamas are acceptable, even at 10 a.m. We've got two or three others that will join us in a little while. Hey, Macy. Hey, Crystal. You there? Beautiful. Benjamin's coming back in. We'll just let those that are here now in and on. And then, yeah, there'll be a few that'll join once we get into it, but that's fine. They can catch up. Crystal, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
No worries. That's good. Beautiful. Did everyone see there was a couple of questions in the waiting room area? I'll go over them again for you guys anyway. Um, we'll all sort of cover. I think Benjamin's having a bit of tech issues. Some point, my co-founder Martin will join us as well. But thank you all for coming along. Beautiful. How you going, Ben?
Good, thank you, Rich.
Good, brother. Nice to have you here.
Good to be here.
Hey, good morning. First of all, thank you, each of you, for making some time and space. I always get a combination of nerves and excitement when I run these. I tend to run them every couple of weeks or so and have done for at least the last couple of years as we're building this rather unique project. So thank you all, first of all. I'll give you a quick intro and the flow of how the session will go today. There will be those that will pop in and catch up, so that's fine. And then I will give you guys, hey, Crystal, good to see you. I'll then give you guys some pathways out of the end of this call to either engage deeper and become a part of what we do. Some of you that might take the form of, having a further conversation one-on-one. Others might want to come in and have a look at what we're building, and we've set up an ability to do that. Come in and check out our community for a couple of weeks. So that's kind of the mission. And I'll show a couple of things here and there. I'll do some screen share to give you guys a bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes of what we're building. Before I dive into that, I'll kind of start with that little intro and then we'll go around. So just prep yourself for three. Look, there are three questions that you could each spend an hour or multiple days answering, but we're going to be sort of compressing it into, a couple of minutes. Question one is sort of who are you and where you are? So very basic, whatever the best thing to speak on that is. Who do you serve? And kind of what you offer. That's question one. Question two is what motivated you to be here, and dig a little bit deeper than curiosity. Invitation on this call, and certainly as you'll learn about our unique community, the more transparency, the better. We're building a global business network of human beings that are willing to bear all souls, warts, gifts, and the whole rest of it, which is extremely refreshing in that arena. So whatever motivated you to be here, whether, what the actual core motivation was, lower than just curiosity, it's great to know. And then the last one is, what do you need right now in terms of potential personal, support in the personal arenas and support in the business arenas? Because what that does is, once I've got that kind of landscape of who's here, some of the things I can speak to, I can contextualize them a little bit and just give them some extra relevance and hopefully some extra value, for you guys. I'll wrap as well. I'll put a little tiny section of the call aside. I've been doing this for the last 6 months because it became very apparent that people were quite interested. We tend to attract a lot of people that are also I'd say there's about 50% that are in the mentoring space in some way, or coaching and mentoring. It's a natural attraction, and they tend to take some interest in how we kind of got people, how we get people into our community and how we get people into what we're doing in there within our mentoring. So I'll reserve a little piece of that at the end, which is how you got on this call, which is a program that we also built called the COS program. It's called the Complete Outreach System. So I'll give that just a little bit of a highlight, because we find sometimes there's an interest and a curiosity and a value point for people in that. Okay. Raise. So first of all, who's here because they got approached by Martin Cobb-Hume, my co-founder? Beautiful, beautiful, Macy. Are you guys in New Zealand? Yeah, raise your hand if you're in NZ, or just speak. I mean, you guys can speak. You guys, just a yes or no. Who's in NZ? No? Okay. Who's in Canada or USA? Excellent. Excellent. It's working. So recently we pivoted our COS program, which is our the thing I'll talk about later, LinkedIn outreach. We're growing this community globally, and we sort of rotate around. So for a week, we'll approach Australia, then New Zealand, then UK, then Canada, then USA, and we kind of move around the planet as we're growing it, Martin and myself. So that's really exciting. Ben, I know you're in Bali, which is cool. Pierre, where are you? Did you raise your hand for Canada? No.
Australia.
You'll get it. Australia. Excellent. All right. So Rich Latimer, I'm in Byron Bay, Australia, which is right on the East Coast. It's a really beautiful spot. And quick background on me. I'm 47. I guess I've been an Awaretrepreneur, and I'll make a clear distinction. What do we mean by Awaretrepreneur? There's a lot of entrepreneur words out there at the moment. I'll give you what our clarification is. It's relatively simple. For a long time, I'm a musician by trade. I spent 15 years in a touring independent rock band, traveling around the country and the world. I then moved into and created a program called the Awareness Shows, which is where really, I guess, my natural calling into supporting people in their growth and being a part of that kind of change occurred. That was with teenagers. So I would go into a high school, a lot in America, South America, Oz, NZ. We'd bring the entire high school into the auditorium, and I would do a combination of storytelling and song. Those two particular methodologies are basically in all Indigenous cultures, regardless of your skin color or heritage. If you trace pretty well every line back, we will find humans sitting in small clan circles around fires as part of larger communities, supporting each other. And you'll see that storytelling, oral story traditions, and then song and dance were the primary methodology for educational delivery and growth and change. And there's some powerful reasons for that, but that was generally consolidated through this kind of tribal clan culture, which is very, very much permeates what the Awaretrepreneur tribe is about. So I grew up in the forest. I grew up with Indigenous people here in Australia. I was exposed to it from a young age. I grew up without electricity, without running water. I got to really experience that kind of style of connection. I live a very community-led life here in my region. Yeah. I've sat in Clan Circle, which you'll hear about in a moment, a component of the Awaretrepreneur tribe. There's a networking component, which you'll learn about, and then there's a deeper component, which are these clan circles. The closest thing you might call, we call them master heart and minds, but I'll unpack them in a bit more detail. They are nuanced, but that's where the roots come from. So that's in me as a person, and it's who I am as a person, what I've always done in my life. So this business is just an expression of my naturalness. So I sit in Clan Circle and have done for decades, regardless of any, This project came from my last rite of passage. I'm also very big on rite of passage. I just got back from a week in the bush doing rites of passage for 200 men and fathers. And it came as a part of that, which was to build this global business network of people that are focused on mental, emotional, spiritual growth and support. And they want to express that through their businesses. And whilst there was, there was the heart-led entrepreneurs and the conscious, there's all these kind of communities doing similar stuff, which is beautiful. I didn't really find the B&I of that. I couldn't find the kind of, I was like, where's the global business network where I can kind of meet, so-and-so from conscious entrepreneur, someone from this, and all these different interesting, I didn't find it. So we're building it. So in a nutshell, that's who I am, who I serve. It's a mix, got everything from CEOs, founders, coaches, mentors, pretty much anyone who feels the call to be a part of what we now realize is more a movement than a network. And they want to kind of bump into others that are doing things of that nature. So that's what the Awaretrepreneur tribe is. We're still in MVP, I guess. And we grow it purely through this methodology for now. So we're not really doing any public advertising. There ain't funnels and landing pages out there and all that sort of stuff just yet. We're using the COS program, which we'll hear about later, which is an incredible piece of technology, tool, and team to strategically find the people that we feel fit. And we're growing nice, slowly, with integrity, and it's really beautiful. So we'll dive deeper into that, but essentially that's who I am, where I'm from, and what the concept is, and we can get into some details. And I guess really the key to it would be, and we're underpinned by two things, which is our 8-pillar model. Like, what are we actually networking on and talking about and working on, whether it's in the networking or if someone comes into what we call a mental 7 clan container, what are we doing in there? That's our 8 pillars. I'll show you. And then the whole thing's underpinned by this kind of collective agreement to a set of values and protocols. Yeah, there's no judgment here. We're not more aware than someone else. We're not the more conscious or more heart person. There's enough of that kind of going on out there. This is a non-judgment kind of a place where it's like we're all failing in different ways to express our integrity through our businesses. Some of that is constricted by the nature of business itself and money and the whole thing. But there's a consensus really in this community where it's like, hey, we all want to go that direction. We would all like to see some shifts and changes in business, money, and these areas. And we just happen to be, building a global community of people that represent that. So I want to be really clear on that, because there is no, in the Awaretrepreneur vocabulary, we don't have competition. We don't see anyone else out there doing their business, product, or service, even if it's identical to ours, as competition. There's no marketplace to capture and attack in the mind of an Awaretrepreneur. It's collaboration and co-creation that we see, and it's an energetic that we approach. So that's why it's been really beautiful. People that have already got big communities in these spaces coming in, and they're putting their flag up for their community, and people, it's amazing seeing people meet each other going, wow, okay, you got a 40-person community that do this, and I've got this. So that's really the core of the networking side. Yeah, it's a gathering place, and it will grow over time. It's online at the moment. There's fortnightly meetings. I'll go into the details in a minute after we've spoken to each of you. But that's my nutshell. Thank you. And thank you for being here. So I'm going to whip around the room with those questions. I'll kick off with you, Brian. Yep, just who you are, where you are, and who you serve. What triggered you to be here today, and kind of what are you most needing for yourself, and potentially for the business.
Thanks for the introduction, Rich, and it's consistent with what I was hoping this would be. So I'm sales and marketing. I serve very rich people, essentially large lawyers and large law firms. So I'm probably the polar opposite of what you're trying to achieve here.
Well, there is no opposite. There's no judgment, no opposite. You keep unpacking you.
Yeah. So what motivated me to be here is genuinely, I get a lot of these outreach on LinkedIn. And I say no to virtually everyone. But I do click on the profile of the person that's sending me. And I was impressed by your 20 years of commitment. I was lucky enough to be retired for 10 years before I went back into business. And in that time, I was lucky enough to watch Redfern now and get moved to get involved in First Nations and have an interest in First Nations all around the world. And I was interested in if you sit in a men's shed, Redfern men's shed, you get different way to look at the life, which is more non-judgmental, etc. So I guess that was the appeal for me to see if I didn't know there's clan circles and all the rest of it. And I'd love to learn more.
Sure.
But I just thought I'd rock up and I would listen to Rich. So that was it. That was my motivation. In terms of what I need, to be a rich white guy, I probably don't need too much. But I think when I'm sitting in a red fern men's shed, I realize there's a ton that I need. So I haven't unpacked what I need, but I'm open to learning.
Beautiful. And we certainly need more people in power and influence willing to have enough humility to know that they don't have it all sorted, even if they feel all of their own personal desires and needs are well met. A truly embodied Awaretrepreneur, man or woman, has a deep sense of collaborative responsibility to the wider community. So just because I got all the coconuts from the island and I dish them out at a pretty damn decent profit to the others that are starving doesn't mean that I feel internally satisfied. And I'm seeing this a lot occurring, and it's a really beautiful thing. But again, there's no judgment; it's a pathway. So that's really quite, it's quite cool. So definitely, that's a big part of what's happening, both within the networking, but absolutely within the deeper clan containers, which we'll speak about. So thanks for being here, Brian. No Sebastian.
Hi there. Thanks for hosting. My name is Sebastian McIntyre. I live in San Rafael, California. I am working currently in sales, selling a manufactured living soil product into the CEA market. And I partner that by working as a coach with men, primarily young men who want to become fathers. I've just started that business. I've done a little bit of coaching over the last 5 years. I've been on a healing journey since my divorce in 2017. Part of that healing journey has been working with psychedelics, various psychedelics for healing modalities. I currently sit and facilitate ayahuasca ceremonies for deep healing. I'm involved with a church here in San Rafael and a church in Kauai. I make ayahuasca on a regular basis, twice a year. Currently, I look to serve anybody who is really interested in developing.
Thank you.
I'm at a trade show, unfortunately. It's just the way that.
That's okay. We can hear you. If you come closer, we can hear you. It isolates.
Yeah, so I'm primarily interested in serving communities in the way that you're talking about, particularly clan community, and supporting anyone who is looking to heal generational ancestral family trauma, utilizing psychedelics, primarily ayahuasca. What do I need? A little bit like Brian, I'm not really sure exactly what I need, but I need to complete my own healing journey. And I'm not even sure if that journey is completable, but I'm certainly know I still have healing to do. I am looking for mentoring and support around being a coach. I know I have a fair amount to provide. I'm a father of 3 teens. That's a fairly important part of my life, making sure that I'm there for them. So I was really drawn to this simply because of what was stated by Martin in his little LinkedIn message. It just sounds like a very interesting movement, and I'm very interested in this kind of community, both here in the US and globally.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, beautiful. So for sure, some of you, the clan work conversation will be more appropriate off the back of this. And I mean, straight off the bat, Brian, Sebastian, that could be potential. Thank you for that. I have experience in all the areas that you have discussed. My wife's Brazilian, so I've sat with that medicine, every couple of weeks for 10 years. It's not an easy path. I mean, in certain countries, it's not even a validated path. It certainly is in South America, as you know. But thanks for your commitment to your own healing and supporting others. Definitely, that's what our business network's about. And I guess the nuance here with the Awaretrepreneur Tribe, it's like, how are we expressing that kind of stuff we're going through in the businesses and the people around us, and really just being able to have a place to have amazing conversations with others doing that. That's the networking side, really. And the clan side, it's like, well, let's really peel this back. Learning about mentoring, it'll happen by osmosis, because the framework that Martin and I have built one of the biggest things happens, particularly for the people that are already well-established coaches and mentors. I've had guys come in that are 70. There's nothing, they feel maybe there's nothing left to learn, and then they're just blown away with elements. Just for myself, I'll never stop learning. I will sit in Clan Circle until the day I pass. I've done it unpaid, just serving my community for a long time. In this one here, obviously it's a business model, right? But in Martin and I's view, every single person, especially business owners, should be sitting in deep Clan Circle on a regular basis. Coming around, thank you, Macy.
There it is. Hi, Rich. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. So my name is Macy Casera. I currently live in New Jersey, and I was in New York City for a bit. So I'm about an hour and a half south from the city. Okay. I'm a coach, and I serve clients around mental health and emotional wellness. I typically coach my clients one-to-one. I started a journey for healing for myself about 10 years ago, and that was when I moved to New York. And I pursued a passion in acting. And I was really doing that because I can only speak for the US, but there wasn't a lot of schooling around mental health or even an understanding about ourself, and courses really to hone in on that. And also courses on emotions. So I really took advantage of learning more about acting to learn more about myself and explore my own emotions. And I really was able to access those parts, which felt really important in order to serve others. So I did that journey for a while. And, I think just continuing that, doing a lot of work for trauma within my own lifetime, past lifetimes, generational. So I was really drawn to this when Martin reached out to me, just because the first step with my coaching is really around awareness, and just adding in a lot of compassion and curiosity to dig deeper. So, I'm just really thankful to be here, and that's a lot of my journey.
That's beautiful. Wow. Really cool. And I mean, you just nail it so well. I'm getting chills because I just spent a week working with teenagers in the bush. It's been a while. But as I mentioned, I'll put the link soon, but touring for several years in high schools, doing social and emotional concerts, just realizing, the complete lack of emotional skills, education, formalized. But I mean, it's happening by osmosis, right? The teachers are doing the best they can in a very, in a structure that's not great. And the kids are bouncing into each other and trying to, at the end of the day, we're humans. We're extremely resilient. We're kind of like the seed under the earth. One of my mentors said, one way or another, we want to get to the light. But it'd be certainly nice if we had some very tender hands nurturing that growth a bit better, and if that was a bit more structured, which is definitely what Clan Circle has always done for all cultures. So that program I would do, you get 2,000 kids in a room, open up with these things, and then we'd break them out. They would run a clan-style circle program within the school, which would allow the deeper thing, And for me, it was quite selfish, to be honest, with the Awaretrepreneur tribe. I've done all different networkings, and I don't judge any of them. I love BNI, love EO, blah, blah, blah. But I just didn't find anywhere where I could just be as raw and real as I wanted to. And I couldn't have enough refreshing conversations in the networking, and certainly within the mentoring, in and around those sensitive topics that you are devoted to. So thank you. Okay. Beautiful.
If I could add, Rich, I just wanted to mention a strong focus on supporting men. That's really been my mission. I've supported men, women, and clients around the world. I work part-time as a coach, but then part-time for a company. And I'm really grateful for them because there's clients around the world that we support. So I just think in the classroom for men, there's not enough play, right? They have to sit for such long periods of time, and I don't think that's natural. So thank you for sharing what you did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll get there. I mean, obviously it's Zoom based at the moment. However, the vision is grand. There'll be retreats and in-person things, and that'll bring more of that. But what we find, particularly within our clan circles, we don't even tell them to do it. Like I just did clan yesterday in the Kookaburras. One of them just grabbed an aeroplane and flew halfway across the country to spend 2 days with one of their clans folk, because of the depth of the containers that Martin and I are creating through frameworks that are tried and true, millennia old. the relating goes really deep, and then that naturally evolves deeper personal relationship, and then obviously fruitions into business extension become quite profound off that. So, but getting together physically and moving and doing stuff, men or women, is really important. Yeah. Beautiful. Come around to you, Marina.
How did I know that? Well, I'll be chewing. It'll be my turn.
Hang on, do you want...
It's okay. I'm finishing the bite.
Okay.
It's so funny, but I had a feeling. Sorry.
You take a moment for that final one. That's cool.
Okay. So I'm in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly why I was pulled into this, but I've been on Instagram and had like, my whole business kind of set up through Instagram. And it's just been feeling uninspiring lately, I would say. And then I just started getting on LinkedIn, and somehow lately it's been feeling very fun. So I am a somatic coach. I work with one-on-one with people on trauma, and I use many different somatic approaches, parts work, inner child work. And I also work with practitioners. So I train practitioners. I have a certificate program for people who want to be somatic practitioners. And I give them both the business tools and the somatic tools. And in the past, I worked as a dialogue facilitator between Israelis and Palestinians. I grew up in Israel.
Wow.
And so I think I really missed that environment a lot, even though there were very challenging and toxic parts of it. I really miss my interaction with my co-facilitators and that whole environment and the types of people that were attracted to it. Yep. So this kind of already the vibe kind of reminds me of that in a lot of ways.
Cool.
My needs, I would say, connecting to people and just being around inspiring people and finding that, natural connection. And then business needs, just client network, sharing what I do with other people and supporting each other. I really love connecting others to each other. It's one of my favorite things. So
beautiful. Yeah, well done. Answered. Well answered. Yeah, I mean, you're getting a feel of it right here and now, right? Obviously, when I unpack and show the networking calls, we get to meet people like you, and we have a very simple format. We alternate between a collective wisdom class where we'll pick a topic across our pillars and we'll go deep on it. We'll go into breakout rooms, but really we're meeting each other at such depth, like what we're doing now, rallying around the topic, consolidating the wisdom, coming back to the main call. And we've got some amazing technology that distills that. Then the wisdom classes are an opportunity for those that come in as a mentor level, where they can run a wisdom class, which means fully embodied, fully lived wisdom. So it's not concepts or anything. It can't be something that you know about but haven't personally done. It's really important. So none of our classes are taught by anyone that hasn't themselves completely lived and brought to complete fruition whatever it is they're teaching, which is quite refreshing. And then they're recorded, but it's connected to their name in perpetuity. In a moment, it'll make sense when I share screen. So there's an opportunity to, for people to see who you are and what you do if you come in at that level. So that's excellent. And it could be that a lot of people, I've got great community everything around me, but I wanted this global connection of a business network of this nature. So people coming in, they don't, they might have enough connection in their life, but they're kind of right, I'll come into this thing to see where are these other Awaretrepreneurs and what. It's kind of a curiosity factor of these, people that are doing all this amazing stuff, yourself included. Crystal, let's hear from you in brief. It would be good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rich, and to everyone who is here. I'm glad to be in this space. My name is Crystal Fry. I am based in Oakland, California. I work here in the Bay, but also all across the country and internationally. I've been in leadership development for the last 20 years. I entered that space thinking that leadership development was like activism at the highest levels. If we can change the hearts and minds of the people in the executive suites, that can have a huge impact on our culture, people, and the planet. So I've been doing this work for 20 years total, and then 14 years as a coach and consultant. And I work primarily with leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers to achieve development goals and to create psychologically safe and inclusive spaces. I've been on a mission of accessibility for the last 12 years. I wanted to take these premium services that I learned consulting with Axialent and BCG and make them accessible to my entire community. I realized that the mindsets, the concepts, the tools, the strategies that make a leader more effective in their leadership make us all more effective in leading our lives. And I didn't want that to be only accessible to the top 3% of our community.
Yeah.
So I've been spreading the word. I'm a bit of a breath evangelist. I use somatic processes and do parts work as well. One of the things that attracted me to this space was this kind of shared idea of applying ancient wisdom to modern day challenges, and especially leadership challenges. So my mentor says we're trying to make common sense common practice. I sometimes think of myself as a simple-minded practitioner because I want to get really clear on what's going to be helpful and then break it down into something that people can really embody and work with. So moving from concepts to practice. What brought me here? Mostly curiosity. I'm a sucker for starting things. I've started a lot of different things, nonprofits, music festivals, circles for women, social justice ministries. I love to start things. So when I see other people starting something cool, I want to learn more about it, see what's up. So part of my participation here is support and curiosity. I can't think of anything I need in particular from this group right now, but our needs are evolving, so 100%. I'm open to see what that might be. And to match, I want to also match and meet the vulnerability of this group because I appreciate it so much. I'm actually going through a process right now. I've started applying to some jobs because I learned how much my skills are worth on the market. And in having to update my resume and think about moving from, 14 years of entrepreneurism into a position, I've had to confront a lot of shame around belonging, what success means, what failure is, and redefining those terms for myself. And it feels like in this moment, I'm doing like this, like wringing out of like shame and any sense of like unworthiness or not belonging that is my own and generations past and maybe collective. So that's the vulnerability I'm bringing in.
Wow. Well, you've got a great mentor for being exactly who you are on your picture behind you there. Tintin. Classic. I've got one of my greatest mentors ever present with me. One of these. Beautiful. In terms of what this potential network can give for each of you, I mean, it's already in this call, right? It's people of this kind of caliber and nature meeting on a semi-regular basis to kind of connect around different things for the sake of just touching base with these others, and from which from little things big things grow. And then in the containers, it's deep like this. It's deeper like that, Crystal, where we're in groups of small groups of 6 with a mentor and an elder on those calls, and we go super deep on our framework, which we'll talk about in a moment. So, super cool. Chris, you came in late. We'll just go quite nutshell, just, who you are, who you serve, and why you came. And if there's a specific kind of, you've got a need.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening here at least. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada,
Oh, cool.
and I have been running my kind of business coaching and leadership training and development company for the last 4 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I was connected through other networks. I'm a big networker. It's how I've grown my business. And so reason I'm here was to, again, I think like you said, Crystal, it's like, ooh, something new. And I'm going to go and just at least check it out. I have what I call shiny object syndrome, SOS. And so that can be a challenge as I've built and grown my business, because I can find many other businesses that could relate to the coaching element and how I could add value. And so one of my things I'm working on personally is just saying no to a lot more things and staying focused on the things that I really want to do and the energy that I get out of working with business owners. And in that being said, my journey over the last few years has been building up peer-to-peer advisory boards and these types of things. So I love facilitating, I love coaching, and I'm trying to change my mindset on the types of businesses I want to work with and attract. And so that attraction piece and where I've been spending time is in that Joe Dispenza world of visualization and energy. And I'm starting to try to bring that to my engagement with my business owners as we talk about these things of being able to manifest the things that we truly want. In the past, I think I've been very much a let's go out and help the world type of guy, which is great, but I haven't necessarily focused in on the things that are going to make me money and be responsible for my business. And so again, these are things that I'm working through over these last, honestly, 6 months, and it's been just amazing. So I always look at these types of things going, who knows, and how do I connect? Because I truly like to be a global connector. So
Wow, beautiful. Yeah, lovely. Particularly that last point there. We find a lot of people, there's a kind of a big heart, small wallet syndrome that can often sort of permeate out there. It doesn't have to be that way. I mean, take for example, this project itself, I had extremely deep values and spiritual objections to monetizing in any form the incredible clan work that I'd been inducted in since I was 13. It took me, I've just offered it for free in my community extensively, and it's had permeating ripple effects. And I get to go to my grave with that, with that in my heart. However, on that initiation, I was kind of hit with that's not enough, and take this out to the world now and create a platform where the conversations of this nature, people like you that are already doing stuff with your owners, can find each other and just interconnect, right? At a simple networking level. Awaretrepreneur Tribe will become, and that symbol will become synonymous in the years to come. People will look at it and go, oh, you're one of those Awaretrepreneurs. I know what that's about. That's kind of like this group of people that are focused on seeing spiritual, mental, and emotional growth and change, and permeate through businesses. So it'll normalize it, like BNI. It's kind of like going to be like the new evolution of that's what I kind of feel. Everything goes through cycles. So when I got that call, I was very challenged. I was like, no, you just got to do this for free, and or whatever else. And it was the opposite of that. This is going, the business model on this is profound. This is going to make incredible amounts of financial abundance, but that will be focused and channeled in ways of integrity and things like that. So, yeah, beautiful to have someone of your heart here, and all of you. I love the COS. So we'll talk at the end about the COS program, but it takes a long time to dial in the metrics on how you guys got. So that's what I promised to speak briefly about, or I'll pop a link about it. Basically, it's a piece of technology using LinkedIn messaging that we built, spent a few years and quite a lot of money, allows us to target. We use Sales Navigator to find the targeting, but it has nuances in the targeting. And then we have an amazing team that run volume-based messaging. They're extremely passionate and well-trained. And so that's how you all got here. Right. And it's getting better and better. Like this call is pretty much, like A grade. So what'll happen now is I'll go back to the team. They'll grab all your LinkedIn profiles and it'll learn more about finding these kinds of people. And that's how we've kind of grown it. So I'm very excited. Ben, I'm deliberately holding you back. So Ben's here on another story. potentially helping with the growth of the program. We're going to go deeper. So I'm going to hold you back on the share. So just keep doing your wonderful observing. That's great. So look, we've covered a lot of what this is and does in the nature of this. There's also a sensation on this call, a little taste, if you like, of the feeling that you might experience should you decide to come in at one of the two levels. Yeah. And it is definitely a place to serve. So we'll have people join that don't have any real need for it. They, Brian, in a way that, there's no, but they also are like, look, I'm interested in serving more. Yeah, in being in a place where I might meet people that I want. So we'll have people, I've had people join that are philanthropic that will come from time to time to the networking calls. They'll join the platform just because they want to keep their ear to the ground, and they'll, might be in a wisdom class or a networking meeting and hear someone say something that just goes boom. Next thing you know, they're on a one-on-one and they're doing something incredible. So see it as a meeting ground. I'll share screen now and dive to the nuts and bolts. But energetically, framework-wise, that's what the offer is. Yeah, and there's coming in as a part of a network of that nature. Those who wanted to do deeper work in the clan work, I'll unpack that as well in this. But it's these smaller containers, and then we'll take some quick questions. I'll put a link, and I'll confirm. Just everyone, any links I put in the chat, open them now so that they're open externally. Because obviously, when I close the call, it won't happen. You won't get access to it. And then to follow up together off the back of this, I will put a link for us to have a conversation in here. So this is the link for the conversation with me, should that become, if you guys want to take it further. And then the other link I will put is the link for the COS program that we built, and the team that we built to be able to do this, which for those of you doing coaching and mentoring that are potentially looking for a methodology to find, acquire, and bring to your offerings, it's quite a powerful, it's quite a powerful tool. So you can have a look at that. Yeah. So in full transparency, whilst we're aware of everything that happens in the messaging and we're on top of it, we have a very special thing where we have a Slack channel, can see all the different stuff, and our agents report to us each day. And we jump into different conversations where applicable. It's kind of done for us, right? So all of you are here without Martin and I having to kind of do anything about that. We observed it. Yeah. And that you can find out more about that after. So has everyone opened those links? They're good. Just keep them aside. And Ben, if you're coming forward with us, your role would be to touch base with these beautiful individuals afterwards and see where they're at and things like that. So again, really good to have you here. So in a nutshell, I met a wonderful Awaretrepreneur, Gina Bianchini. She was trying to take on the boys at Silicon Valley, Meta and all that, and she built this amazing platform called Mighty Networks. It struggled in the shadows for a long time until COVID hit, and everyone went, "Ooh, I don't want to run my entire business through a Facebook group anymore." It's pretty cool. For now, it serves us well. I like her, and it's quite a powerful tool. But basically, we just needed a piece of technology where we can gather people, and really, it's about getting live on the calls. So no one really needs another place to like, comment, and share. That's what we've found. Everyone's pretty well over that. I mean, there is a space for it, but really, the reason for this is just so that we've got the gathering place in which to meet. Okay, so the network. So this is the platform we run in. Here's a bit of a window into some of the. Oh, mate, I could put my mouse over any one of these and begin crying just to tell you some of these individuals and who they are. All of them were met in the same way as we're doing on this call. They show up as consistently as they can to our calls. We've obviously opened up time zones for Canada and America. So that's all there. And we're just growing an amazing community of people that are like everything we've discussed on this call. So those gatherings at a networking level take two forms. We have a collective wisdom, and these rotate. And it's pretty simple, but ridiculously powerful. We jump on the Zoom call, everyone's together. We open up the specific topic in question. There are normally 3. They are distilled by vote. And then bang, we get into it and we rally around it and we extract the absolute gold of wisdom. We tend to break into breakout rooms if needed. We gather the gold, it comes back, it gets put in a simple container back for the rest of the community, and then we unleash it, and then ultimately the AI tool that we've got will distill that down into just a beautiful punchline, tangible, practical, implementable things, and then that gets posted to the community. What happens is people will have epiphanies, breakthroughs, connections, right? And then they'll chase them up. So there'll be someone in your thing that says something, and you'll be like, bang, I need to know this person deeper, whether it's a business related or it's a personal related. Okay. So it facilitates networking, but we do it in a very pragmatic, practical way. We want to gather, collect, and contain acute wisdom across one of our personal business pillars. The wisdom classes, I alluded to it before, they are a live 45-minute teaching with either a workshop element or a Q&A. They're run by our mentor level subscribers. When you guys go to that link, you can come in as a member or a mentor. If you come in as a mentor, you go on a evergreen, ever rotating roster to be called up, and it's booked well in advance to be a live wisdom teacher. And that gets, you teach on one of the topics. So that's our pillars, guys. So we run an 8-pillar model, which is obviously aligned to our logo. I'm not going to get too esoteric and go too deep, but I do enjoy symbology, geometry, and a whole range of things. The 18 in the center represents the arrow of ascension, which is the humble but persistent desire to grow and evolve, not be higher than anybody else. There is no judgment in our community. So health, and the diamond axis is the human. So we're working health and self, relationship and family, money and prosperity, community, creativity. And then we have the square axis starting top right for our 4 business pillars: purpose and profitability, sales and marketing, obviously team systems, innovation and legacy. Now, fairly generic, large, broad things, but the beauty is what we're looking for is the nuances in the crossovers. So we're in a clan meeting yesterday, and we've got a business owner that attributed elements of their modeling and sales team growth with childhood trauma. Those linkages were defined, very practically unpacked through collective support and defined into actionable steps, both in their personal development, which then transpires into execution within the business. And we're seeing things that are quite frankly mind-blowing. So we're interested in the gaps between how our mental and emotional spiritual growth evolves and impacts. I can't go too much deeper. You have to experience it, but essentially that's the framework Martin and I are using and being inducted in. But there's a lot of common sense in there, who was saying about, and it's a lot of ancient wisdom. Yeah. But that's the pillars that we work. That's what our wisdom class is. The wisdom classes are then deposited into what we call the wisdom bank. This becomes an evergreen, ever-growing, non-stop growing evergreen online course of this mind-blowing wisdom from all incredible people that choose to join. And future members can come in and work through those and access it all. It's really powerful. Now, when they do access it, they can then find the person who ran it and engage in the program or join them or whatever the situation is. And that's in perpetuity. So the link to the person will be there. This is one Martin did recently on relationships. So we're building something, right? We're collecting this wisdom from these interesting people, but it's facilitating as well quite smart networking and potential business and client expansion, as a part of it. So that's the wisdom bank. And there are some specialty clans. I've been very moved recently to put together a couple, like a relationship and family, sisterhood, brotherhood, and when it doesn't necessarily, it's around those energetic bases of masculine, feminine, without going into full discussions there. So there are some specialty clans coming, but that's the networking side. And then the deep work is what we call Mentor 7 clans. Okay, so these are the small group containers of 6. And that's 2 hours, similar. It's 2 hours every 2 weeks. The networking is 2 hours every 3 weeks, 2 weeks and rotates. And these are 2 hours every 2 weeks, deep containers, essentially, where we're working through those things. They're tracked, they're recorded, they're tangible. Everyone's got accountability boards that they work to. And as I said, we've had extremely experienced mentors and coaches come into one of these for their own, kind of growth as well, like kind of dropping the I know everything and I've done everything approach, and just getting so much out of serving others and growing and really, to be honest, drawing some skills from that are really advantageous. And we're growing clan leaders, so we need to prepare for rapid scale. This is going to blow up over the next year or so. And that format is relatively simple. Once you've sat a minimum 9-month term in a Mentor 7 container, you achieve essentially, clan leadership potential. Obviously, there's a vetting process, and we do a profit share model. It's around 15% gross per container. Containers are $777 a month per participant, around $4,500 a month, and they're about 2 hours every 2 weeks, as I described. And then those clan leaders would be paid that, and they would do it under our. So we want to grow a model that doesn't require us controlling it top down. I don't want to hire 100 coaches, pay them minimal 80 grand a year salaries and milk all the money for my next yacht. I want to do a systemical, growing, far more scalable model where, say I get in deep relationship with you, Brian, you come in, we get people as humans, plus you go, you know what, I've got a bit of capacity. I'm happy to take 1 or 2 clans through a 9-month journey each. You get paid your share. Some of the people will do that. It's a monetary thing. Others, will be like, I don't need the money, but I enjoy the work and the money's great. And then you'll take those people through, but it allows scalability for us, right? We can all of a sudden have, and we've already got about 15 prep leaders as we are growing, we're growing. That's the networking side and how we do it. It runs through the platform, and that's the mentoring side, as much as a nutshell as I can give, because there's only 3 minutes to go. But that's what's happening. Live retreats will pop up. That's my biggest dream, but I've got to give myself a break. I'm also a father of 3 young, small children and very active in my community. I also own 2 other businesses, including a marketing agency and a solar company. So I just got to breathe a little bit, but I'm so in love with this project. It's almost impossible not to just forget everything and just grow this thing pretty much. But yeah, there's, those of you who are inspired and want to, no doubt, we're going to connect, right? We'll have a one-on-one, or we'll continue the conversation. The free trials there, one of the pathways, and Ben, for your education, we normally suggest is like, look, jump in, come in for 2 weeks, have a feel, see some of the people. There's a beautiful checklist as you go through that really goes deep on what we're doing. So as soon as you log into that program, that link, there's this like checklist task list. If you work through that, that's where you go, right, I get this thing now. Then obviously nothing beats the, come and meet the people on the calls. That's really what this is about, right? And then those of you who are open or willing or need, there's the other elements of that. And it is collaborative. So Gina and I have been, the lady that owns Mighty Networks, I've been hounding her for 2 years around a shared monetary model. They've made a step 1, which basically means when you bring people in, from your communities or whatever else, it's able to split, because we charge $99 a month for membership. Yeah, it'll split some of that off and give it back to the person who brought those people in, and it'll do that on a tiered model, so it kind of can create this kind of revenue sharing through membership model, and then it can split 10% of that away, which we can put in a central area and execute for down the track for philanthropic things, and we can take votes on that as a community. We've got some great visions, but that's another thing too, as we grow it and we build the retreats. But we're in early days, so you guys would still be considered early adopters, and part of the fledgling founding members. Probably got 90 or so, and we've got growing the clans. Next year it'll pick up quite a lot. I can feel in my bones, and that's it. So we're right on the bell, and I really honour and respect each of your times. A great call, great people, and I hope, I guess really quickly, I'll take a popcorn style questions, but anything else deeper, we can A, connect one-on-one, B, you can come into the platform and have a feel. And if you do join that, I'll see it, obviously, and we'll jump on that, and we'll see you on the next call, and you'll meet and see Martin. And the cause related questions, definitely book a one-on-one. If you guys are seeking a system and a methodology similar to this, where you want to strategically, reach and potentially engage clients. Yeah. Questions quickly. Anyone who's got a question or two or wants to say something, even if you just want to do a closing sort of, anything you want to say, Brian, or ask in brief. Oh, you're on mute. 1 second. You off? There you go. Oh, hang on again. It was a double tap.
Unmute. How's that? So quick comment just for me personally. So one, loved what you're doing, what you're setting up. For me, it's premature. So I guess a question I would have is, could I defer that 2-week introduction? And presumably Ben can look after this. Defer that till January when I'll have time. Between now and the end of the year, I'm just not gonna. And then I think for me, it's you piqued my interest. I love what you're doing. And in about a year's time, I think I'm going to have capacity to get involved. The money doesn't matter to me, and so I just want to give back. But I think I'm going to be more positioned in a year's time to give back. And one thing I learned with my previous involvement is don't promise something you can't deliver on. And that actually meant because of my workload, I'm not able to promise a lot. But then once I do promise, I do deliver, and I think that's important in First Nations.
100%.
Given a history of non-delivery.
Yeah, well, you'll be on the database. That's beautiful. You'll be on the database. We'll maintain connection. I will say this, though. When Nelly finished, we never were going to, right, take on investors or raise capital, but we've had a couple of our clan members, people that have sat for 9, 12, 14 months and have been dramatically impacted personally, and in a few of these instances, rather astronomically financially, who are now like, right, how do I put money into this thing? So there is a stakeholder thing. You kind of triggered my intuition a little bit. So maybe some point, grab a call with me if you can at some point. You've got one. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Sebastian?
Yeah, thanks, Rich. It's super interesting. I want to review the links you sent. As I said, I'm at a trade show, so I'll get to that tonight and have a look and just take it from there. I'm definitely interested in something in the future for sure.
Beautiful. We'll touch base. Anything from you, Macy? Questions or anything like that you would like to share that we can't do one-on-one?
Yeah, no further questions. Thank you so much for having me, and I just enjoy hearing more, and it's just very, very interesting. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Grab a chat. That'd be really cool to connect further. Chris?
And I apologize for being late. As soon as I got on at 5, I had a customer call, but thanks. Yeah, I'll look you up, Rich. It'd be great. There's a lot of work I'm doing in Canada in this networking space that I'd love to maybe connect on and see what the potential is either way. So, but I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'll touch base, or Ben, or one. We'll touch base with each of you externally. But just it'd be great to grab a further chat and see what can flow. Crystal?
I'm just going to say thank you so much. I am with you in spirit.
Beautiful. Happy days. Awesome, all of you. As I said, either see you in there if you guys decide to jump in and have a look, catch you on a call if we catch up. Otherwise, we'll reach out, and sort of prompt and touch base. But thanks again for coming. We're growing this, where it's going, it's here and growing solidly. It'll be there as we grow. We love, and people like you love to have you in there. Absolutely. And so would the existing members. So thank you so much, each one of you.
Thanks. Beautiful. Take care, guys.
Blessings for your evenings, your days. Ben, stay on the call if you can. See you, Chris. 1 second.